Just like the way I explained that you have an electro and then a magnetic side, which is the two different aspect part of yourself, different forms of energy, different forms of relativity and polarity that are existing inside of one particular body that you have. It is the same thing when it comes to your nutritional forms. You can develop a pattern into feeding animal protein, and then you can also have the ability to absorb energy from the first energy form itself, which is the sun, or you can depend on plants energy. Either way, you are meant to bring about a balance in everything that is in existence. It's not about being a vegetarian entirely. It's not about being someone that depends on plant protein entirely. It's about understanding that you are both, okay, electric and then magnetic, which means that you are both plants and then meat. You are two things inside of one. Just that one has the ability to cause a slower way of digestion within your own being, and then a less amount of energy that is being produced from it. And the other one has the ability to digest things very quickly and then produce a humongous amount of energy that ends up leaving you hungry after just a few meals. Do you understand this? That is the two forms of yourself. We are coming to talk about pH scaling. I'm going to tell you what pH scaling and why it is necessary for you to be able to maintain this balance inside of yourself before we can actually get down into structuring your diet, starting with people that eat many times or 5 times in a day to downwards, and then we shred it down in a particular level that you yourself that is listening to me right now, you'll be able to get the innermost understanding of the information through which you can incorporate it inside of your current way of eating. That way that it will assist you boost the 5 basic stages that I told you that your entire being is made up of. Okay, so let's go to the board and then we'll break this thing down in a much simple factor. Okay, when it comes to what a pH scale is, okay, let me first of all just put your electromagnetic field here. Then we'll use that to explain it the whole way. That way, most of you will understand what the balance within yourself is all about. Okay? So this is your electromagnetic field. We have electricity here, and then we have magnetic here, with you being in the middle. Okay? You don't belong to set A, you don't belong to set B. Okay? You are the middle because each of them flows inside of you and then flows outside of you. Each of them repel things and then they attract things to you. Same way go with your pH scale. When I talk about pH scale, let's write this line, okay? Let's take this line. This line, let's see this line to be the first form of vibration or first form of timeline. Okay, within your being, this single line that lies in the middle is this particular timeline. And on this other end starts from the beginning. Out of the darkness came light. So out of this particular 0 came every number that exists. And normally when it comes to pH scaling, it always ends up resulting in a 14 context. The 14 is the 5 of yourself. The 5 of yourself is you as a star. Okay? So it is a determination of what the factors inside of your being is and how to go about balancing yourself in the physical manner, because pH is physical. Okay, they are talking about your physical nature. So how do you determine that you are deficient of this particular nutrient or you are efficient of that particular nutrient? It's by a way of you understanding the pH scaling system. The pH scaling system, just like your electromagnetic field, deals with 2 major aspect part of yourself. Okay, these 2 major aspect part of yourself is the alkaline. Okay, your alkaline nature, which represents the base. When I talk about base, I'm talking about sodium. I'm talking about salt, intense salt inside of your own being is alkaline. Okay, depending on the ratio of it, is inside of your being. Okay, and then we have the acidic constant. Okay, which this is the acidic content and which counts about everything that has to do inside of your body, the opposite of what base is. Do you understand? It's like your electro and then your magnetic, your alkaline body and then your acidic body. Each of them exists inside of you as a perpendicular line of in requiring certain kind of nourishment. Okay? You need a certain amount of an alkaline diet inside of your being. Let's say it's 50%. You need an acidic content inside of your body, 50%. All this combines to stabilize the body and cause an easy flow of energy within your entire being, from the crown of your head to the roots of your feet. Do you understand? It's very simple like that. So when it comes to the balancing of this particular pH scale, the pH is always in the middle. Okay? The pH is always in the middle. Just like this, you are in the middle. The physical, you are in the middle between your alkaline self, which represents the base, okay, and then your acidic self, okay, which represents your acid. The level of acidity inside of your body will tell you the level of energy that needs, okay, to be put in to guarantee more work inside of your own being. The acidic part of yourself is what breaks things down, okay. Everything that has to do with breaking of your food, everything that has to do with breaking every sort of information inside of your body requires an amount of your acidic self. Your acidity is dependent on the fruits, dependent on the fruits, dependent on the vegetables, dependent on everything that you do inside of this world. Or not. It has a particular percentage that it excretes. Do you understand this? We are not going deeply into biology. So even if you just Google what pH is, it will tell you exactly that you have an alkaline nature and then you have an acidic nature. These two needs to be maintained a particular balance with you in the middle. You need viruses inside of your being as much as you need bacteria inside of your being. Okay, it's like that. They need to keep balance, but when they begin to run out of balance, when the scale, okay, of when the pH scale of either one of them, be it the alkaline or the acidic, begin to tilt, okay? So let's say this is it and then this is it. You are in the middle. You are supposed to maintain it in a full balance form like this. But you ended up allowing the level of your acidity to go down, okay? Your level of acid went down from 50 all the way to a level of 30. And the level of your base inside of yourself also went up, okay, by all the way to 70. So what happens is that you being inside of the middle, it causes an imbalance. This is the yin yang. This is you in the middle. Okay? You are always in the middle of situations. Middle is where you find balance. So you are always in the middle. When this scale tips the other way around and then ends up looking like this, then this one ends up becoming big, and this one ends up becoming small, and this one ends up becoming big. So you need to find a particular form or dieting system through which you can bring the scales back to a balanced form, to a level that you are still in the middle, whilst you are eating from plants and then you are eating from animals without having any issues within the body, because you understand that if I am taking this level of acidity inside of my body, I need to take this amount of alkaline to balance it out. You understand? If I'm eating so much plants, if I'm always a vegetarian eating plants, plants are strong. Yes, they are healthy for you. They are very good for you. But due to how a modification of things have caused onto it, it has reduced significantly. Okay, plants protein, the same thing. The plants that they chop, or the grass that they chop, you find something that you call weedicide or something like that. Okay, you have weedicides. You have pesticides. All these pesticides and weedicides goes inside of the stomata of the leaves, okay? The stomata of the leaves that the plants produce their food with. So it ended up causing a slow rate of digestion or a slow rate of sun absorption inside of the stomata of your cells, or the plants that absorb the nutrients that turns into food that the animals eat. Do you understand? So it's very simple. It's from plants. Okay, animals get their nutrition from plants, okay, and it goes all the way, okay, to you as the middle. You also get your nutrition from both animals and then plants. You are both. You understand? You just have to understand the level of the difference that exists when it comes to its alkaline nature and then its acidic nature, okay, so that you will know that when I begin to eat a lot of meat, or when I begin to go on to meat dieting, yes, meat helps build your muscles. Same way, there are plants that can help build your muscles. Meat help in the way of your strengthening of the bones. Yes, it has also a way, a natural way, okay, or a plant-based form of enhancing your bones. Every single thing that exists in nature always has the opposite part of itself. That is why you are a divine feminine and then a divine masculine, all of it corresponding to the one spirit. You understand? The spirit came down and then took two forms. It's the same thing that exists with nature. So you can learn to balance this dieting system between the left side of yourself and then the right part of yourself, so that you will know when my body begins to send me this amount of signals, or even if it hasn't started, because your body, I told you, before it will begin sending you signals that there's something wrong, then that simply means that that part of yourself, they've dumped all the things, the unnecessary things inside of there, that it has become too much accumulated. So they begin to send you the pain signal. So unless you are feeling the pain signal, most of you don't take care of yourself. But if you understand the acidity content and then the alkaline content of yourself, it becomes very easy to balance these two. Okay, so what is the acidity in its real essence? What food contains its acidities? What food contains its alkaline nature? Okay, I want to take my time and then to break that down for you to understand the two differences that exist in both plants and then both animals. You understand this? Okay, so let's pick it up and then make these things very easy. You have the alkaline nature of yourself and then you have the acid nature of yourself. All these are necessary energies inside of your being to cause a certain amount of balance that allows the 5 physical part of yourself to work functionally. When you allow or you understand the levels that you need to take when it comes to alkaline, when you understand the levels that you need to eat your food when it comes to acidic level, then it will be able for you to strip down your nutritional form. Instead of eating 5 times to 10 times a day, you can reduce it to a particular level that is much easier for you to digest. Okay, because these two, just like the way I told you before, comes from plants and then animals. These two are two different forms of one thing that we all call nature. One is picking it from its rawest essence and the other one is picking it from the essence of the condensed form or a much complex form of itself. When it comes to the digestion of the fruits, it is very easy. Okay, when it comes to the digestion of meat, it takes a while because it needs to break it down from its solid state into a liquid state so that it can be absorbed by your cells through the transmutation of its energy that has been absorbed. You understand? And 90% of the time when it comes to the acidic content of food that you eat, it produces less, okay, of energy than it comes when to your alkaline nature. So I'm just going to summarize this particular fruits, okay, later of it, like 2 to 3 of them. Then you will understand the context when it comes to relating them inside of your own being. Okay, so when it comes to acidic food, we have fruits like nuts. Okay, we have nuts inside of this world. There are things you call the walnut. You have things you call the crane nuts. There are things you call different kinds of nuts and the seeds, chia seeds, black seeds, mustard seeds. All of them are also dependent or are from the alkaline nature of yourself. They produces a number of alkaline or a number of base inside of yourself that allows the easy processing and then the reabsorption of energy back into your cells to cause this your physical self to stand up and then keep moving. When it comes to seeds and then nuts, okay, they are natural essence that is produced from the earth. You understand this very clearly. Okay, good. When it comes to the acidic content of yourself, you have the meats and then you have the dairy products. When I talk about the meat, I told you every animal inside of this world feeds on grass. Grass takes their energy from the sun. The sun is what powers every life form inside of this world. So they are picking the energy and then processing it inside of their being, absorb the nutritional value from it, and then use it to power their own bodies. Okay? They are using to power their own bodies in various forms, through their respiratory system of breathing, through their reproductive system of recreating, through their nervous system of being able to travel with light, because they too, I told you, every single thing of this world that experiences fear has a soul. So this particular meat that you are eating is at a form in which it is very solid. Okay, the meat content of it is very solid, and you and I understand that when it comes to the level of solid, when it comes to its molecules, they are closely packed to each other like this. They are like you sleeping in among the 1,000 people. Okay, your cells, when it comes to its solid nature, they are closely packed to each other. So before your organisms or before your secretion of the biles inside of your digestive system can be able to break this same particular time down, it needs time. Okay, it has to take a while before it can work, depending on the energy that you've either balanced it with either seeds or not. When you just eat meat and then that is it, you've eaten a heavy load of meat and then the digestion process takes a longer time and you feel like that is satisfaction. No, you are never satisfied. The part of yourself that eats never gets satisfied. It doesn't matter whether you depend on plant protein or you depend on animal protein. Each of them will never satisfy you, but it can cause you to tip yourself out of the balancing. Okay, you can tip yourself from a scale of acidity into a scale of base, and that won't be good for your body. It can also tip you from the form of base into a form of an acid. That is not good for you. You are in the middle. You are supposed to maintain the balance between your left side and then your right side. And then we come to dairy products, the most common things that we consume. Okay, from animals we eat milk. From animals we get cheese. From animals we get all these simple fats, okay, that exist on or that is being produced by them. We use these fats, which is also in the very solid state, okay, and then we process it into our own being, and our cells ended up slowing it down just like this in order to work it out. Okay, good. When it comes to fruits, okay, fruits usually exist between these two, both acidic and then alkaline. Fruits exist in both ways. There are certain fruits inside of this world that has an alkaline content or acidic content, and there are certain fruits inside of this world that have an alkaline content. They are always in a balancing ratio, okay? You have to understand this. And 90% of the time, the foods that we actually eat, produces less fiber. So what happens is that when you eat something of an acidic in nature, let's say you eat meat, and you need a counteractive or a counter form into which it will cause the meat to digest very fast, then you need to depend on the vegetables, okay? The green vegetables that produces 90% of fiber, and then the less percent, 10%, comes from its iron content, and then the rest of the nutritional values. Do you understand? It is simple like that. When you are eating this and you are balancing it with this, it becomes easier. I'm not saying that you should always include, as long as there's vegetables around, you should be eating meat. Meat is still heavy on the body. Meat will still cause bloating. Meat will still cause excess mucus. Meat will still find a way to slow down your cells, which slows down your rate of thinking, ended up dragging you into a whole lot of depression. It's very simple like that. You also eat from eggs. Okay? Let me not forget that. Eggs too. Eggs comes from the acidic side of yourself. Eggs is being produced manually, okay, by the particular animal or the bird, okay. And when they produce this particular eggs, it's from the same way of them feeding on the plant nutrients in order to gain the eggs working. So when you are feeding on eggs, eggs are divided into different forms. When we begin to get there, wow, okay. So when it comes to eggs, eggs too has the same value. 90% of us love eating eggs, me included. I love eating eggs, but when it comes to the eggs content that you take inside of your own being, it has a very slow metabolism. Okay, eggs has a very slow metabolism, and when it comes to its nature of metabolizing things, it end up turning the kind of foam that comes off it, when it begins to turn itself up, because it has delayed. The slower it is, the slower digestion actually happens inside of your being. Okay, you begin to digest things very slow, and then slow digestion simply means an accumulation of gas. An accumulation of gas simply means that somebody is definitely going to get suffered. Okay, so these are the basic content when it comes to you balancing your alkaline and then your acidic diet. Okay, listen to the information. Look at how you are ingesting your food systems. That way you can be able to cause a natural form of balancing within your own self. Is this understandable? We'll dig much deeply as we go along, okay? So let's move back to your dieting system, and then we'll cut it down into shots. Mind you again, if you are in this world, a person that eats 5 times in a day, okay, this is my advice to you. According to the periodic time of the day, you will have like this. Okay, you have till sunrise all the way till sunset, and you have all the way from sunset all the way to sunrise. Okay, you have this 24 hours within your own reach. And depending on the kind of fruits that you put inside of your body will tell you whether it is going to take an hour, or it's going to take 12 hours, or it's going to take 16 hours to actually cause the breakdown of that particular food. But what I want you to get the deepest understanding of is the fact that when the sun begins to go down, when the sun goes down on the other end of yourself, or when the rotation of the earth moves on its axis and the sun tilts to the other side, digestion begins to slow down. Okay? Digestion begins to slow down automatically, because everything takes the energy from the sun. Your cells need the energy of the sun. Your stomach, I told you, represents the solar, which is the fire content of the body. When the sun goes down, the fire lows down. It doesn't mean that it stops. Digestion still goes, but it is very slow. So if you are someone that eats 5 times in a day, I don't know how you structure your meals, but understand that when you wake up during daybreak, the first thing that the sun does when it moves on this particular axis is digest the leftover food that you ate yesterday, which couldn't finish digestion. It will reabsorb the energy of the sun to continue breaking this down. So you have 2 options. You can either assist it to increase the flow of it from a slow state into a high state, that it can digest the food almost immediately, that you will have to visit the restroom before you do anything during daybreak. Or you can actually go ahead to load yourself with early morning food, okay? Be it water, be it I said water. You people don't drink water. You drink tea. You drink tea with a heavy load of bread and a lot of fried eggs. Those ones, when it gets inside of your being, what they couldn't digest yesterday and then finish, it goes and then it adds more pressure on them. Do you understand? So every time that your cells sense that there's something new that just came down, anytime they feel that something new just got delivered, what they worked up to, they begin to divide themselves, okay? They begin to divide themselves into two. Others need to go and take care of what is happening current, and the rest need to stay there and then keep breaking this down. Do you understand? You've split your cells into two particular forms. So the other one is going to be working so hard with the little amount of energy that it has already from breaking down this, and then it is going to end up combining this and then this one to bring it out to this particular surface. Although you will be like, oh, how is that having any effect? Abi, it's normal. I can go to a restroom and then to free myself. The thing is that it comes to your cells. It takes a lot of energy from your cells to actually break it down. And the more breakdown that your cells does, that means there's more fat inside of it. And the more the fat inside of your being, the more they need to tie it down and then cover it up and then pack it at a certain aspect part of your body. And that is what usually causes the pain or the unusual feeling when you actually have and you are like, I'm sick, I want to vomit, I want to do this. That is what usually happens. Until that aspect part of yourself is full, your cells will keep breaking the food to the utmost strength that you provide for them. Okay? So if you are someone that is very heavy in the morning, you wake up, you are eating very heavier, please, I would definitely advise you that if you wake up, get a glass, okay? Get a glass of lime. Cut one particular lime and then you drop it inside, okay? You can wash it very clean. You cut it into two. You squeeze the juice inside. You drop the fiber itself inside of it, and then you add warm water. Pour warm water to it until it gets to the level of it like this. Okay, allow it to settle down for like some 15 seconds, and then you pick it up, you drink every water content of it, and you leave the lime inside. Then you add more water. Okay, you wait for another 15 seconds, and then you drink that. When this goes inside, already throughout the night, your throat has stored certain bacteria. Your throat has digested a leftover of secreted hormones or enzymes that goes a long way to break whatever that you've eaten, okay, a little more down. So if you are taking the lime juice during the daybreak, immediately it gets into your throat, it washes everything here, and then it pushes it all the way down to the uterus or the stomach. I like calling the stomach uterus. Okay, it pushes it all the way down to the uterus. So when it gets there, it begins to cause a much active breakdown of your food. Okay, your cells begin to be like, they've woken up from sleep and now it is time to work. They've been fired, okay, at a rate of 100%. So definitely within a few minutes, your stomach will start grumbling, and when it starts grumbling, then you definitely know that it's time to go to the restroom. They have modernized your entire cells into producing that form of energy. And when you do that, it doesn't just excrete all the things that you've eaten. This thing that is packed here, it pushes it out too, because it has extra energy to do that too. So when the elimination during your daily process is went very good, you don't have to stress about you eating. Do you understand? When it goes very well, yes, you will feel hungry. That is when you are supposed to go out and then to absorb the energy of the sun, because it is sunrise. Okay, after you visited the restroom, now you are at peace. You go outside. At that empty stomach, your cells are open up like this. They are ready to feed, and there is no energy that lands inside of the stomach that they will not eat. So you being outside of the sun and then sun gazing or opening yourself up to the sun will allow the cells to feed directly from the energy source. Okay, when you are able to do that, you will feel much peace in less than 3 days. I'm telling you. When you are able to hold back your dieting system and absorb the sun energy on a daily basis, you will feel much better in 3 days. Okay, and more you continue doing it. Some of you need time to do the elimination process. Yes, I understand. Okay, so if you don't experience it within 3 days, keep going. Some of you actually be like, if it is after 3 days, am I supposed to stop or what? If it is good for you, if you want to continue, you continue. If you feel like what I'm doing, it isn't working out for me, then you can stop and go back to your old ways of how you do things. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so from you eating 5 times a day, you've skipped breakfast. Sunrise, you've absorbed the energy of the sun, you've taken your lime, Okay, you wait when the sun begins to go. Okay, from its you absorbing it physically and enjoying it, no, it begins to get a little bit warmer or hotter. Then that is when you are supposed to eat. Okay, when the sun begins to get very hot on your skin, then that is when you are supposed to eat, because now your body is working at the rate of plasma energy is being turned. Your cells have been fed with positive energy, plenty energy, that they don't know what to do with it. Do you understand? So immediately you eat food. Okay, if you eat food at that particular moment, you know, I always advise that you eat something from a tree. Okay, it doesn't mind whether it is made from nuts, whether it's made from seeds, whether it's made from fruits, whatever that it is, make sure that is the first dieting system that comes from a tree. Eat from a tree first. Okay, allow the tree to get into your system first. They will neutralize, and then they will engage themselves with your cells, and then they will cause the lining of your stomach. Okay, when the mucus, when the food comes inside, there's already work here. They've already breaking things down here. That makes it, they've increased. Let me put it simply that way. They've increased the rate of bacteria inside of the stomach. Okay, now any food that drops inside, no, they begin to break it down. Okay, you eat 5 times in a day. Start by cutting it like this. The food that you eat when the sun begins to get very warm, you eat like 5 balls of kenke. Okay, let's say you eat 5 balls. It doesn't mind how small it is still 5. Okay, you can start by cutting it down into 4. Start by making a bold move. Cut from 5 into 4. The 5 is what you usually included during sunrise. Now you've skipped that one. You've waited till the sun has risen, and then you begin to take your first meal, because now your stomach is starting to feel cranky. So you take the first meal of 4. Okay, you take the first form of your eating, and then you wait. You understand? After you finish eating, get a particular fruit, be it an orange, okay, or be it vegetable that you have made. Okay, just make sure that the content of it, you know, is very high. The one that comes from the sun is very high. Okay, if you don't have that, you can get a particular branch, be it a tree of a mango, or be it of a pear, be it of a guava, be it of a coconut shells. You can boil the coconut shells. This is the water that I'm drinking. This is from the coconut shells. Okay, you can boil it, and then you get a cup. Okay, you drink a cup after you finish taking your meal. Don't just drink normal water. Okay, don't just drink normal water. If you want to drink something that has more acidity content in it, that will assist in breaking down the food complex inside of your stomach. Do you understand? So after you've drinking that one, go about with your normal days. Okay, go with your normal activities. Do whatever it is that you're about to do. In the afternoon, okay, then you can eat somewhere around 3. Okay, if it is 2 going to 3, you definitely feel hungry. Then you go back, and then you eat the second one. Then you load it up again with a lot of water. Okay, you need H320, which is like the denser form of what physical liquid H2O is. So when you are eating or drinking from the fruits, there is much more energy within them than actually just drinking normal water, because normal water will not be able to break down that food that you've just eaten, especially if that food has fish or it has meat, okay, or eggs, okay, and it's already rice. So that's a high forming mucus diet that you've just eaten. So you need to take something that will cause your cells to boost, okay, in order to break this thing particular down. It's as simple as that. Do you understand this? Okay, in the evening, if you are hungry, okay, you've eaten this, in the evening you are hungry, please try and get a smoothie. There are different ways of making smoothie that can get you through the night. You are starting with smoothie, but as we go ahead, we are going to eliminate the smoothie part of it. You can also eat fruits of a normal nature. Okay, you can just get like pear. You can get like what do you call it? Mangoes. You can get like what do you call it? Any fruit that you know that you can eat on. Okay, jackfruit, soursop, any of those ones. You can eat as many as you want. Banana. Okay, banana, you are supposed to ingest it in smaller quantities. Okay, the level of it has been modified over ages, so like there's no plenty of much energy left in it, so you can eat that one in smaller context. And then you take in the smoothie as left with the last one. That one comes with lime again. You take lime in the evening after you've taken your smoothie. No, allow it to rest somewhere. If you are someone that eats at night, this is what is meant for you. But if you are not someone that eats at night, after you've taken the smoothie, then that should be enough to get you through the next day. Everything depends on your level of discipline. Okay, Everything depends on your level of discipline. I told you that when it comes to your stomach, okay, the way in which your stomach is like this. Okay, so when you begin to involve more food into your system, it begins to grow. Okay, it will extend. There are muscles, and muscles can either relax or contract. So when it comes to you being able to eliminate and reduce your rate of eating, it will begin to clean, okay, reduce the size of your stomach to a particular level that it is like this. The more you continue, it begins to reduce it to a particular level like this. So the more you keep going, the less food that you actually have hunger for. So you will start canceling from one food and then going to two, and from two you go down to one, and then you will finally be able to absorb most of the sun's energy every day to satisfy your own self, whilst understanding that you still have something you call an alkaline nature, okay, and then an acid nature, which needs balancing. And that is what these fruits and nuts and seeds and smoothies are all about. Do you understand? It's about taking out the cabbage or the garbage of what is not longer serving you in a deeper context.